A new book about the history of the University of Wyoming is out to commemorate a special occasion. It's a collection of more than 200 vintage photographs that show how the campus has evolved from the beginning to current day. It's got just enough text to enhance the charm and significance of each image. Authors Tammy, Hert, and Rick Ewig shared with us stories about their project. So Rick, I'll toss the first question off to you. Did you have a special occasion in mind when you started work on this project?
Well, we certainly did. We thought 2012 was an especially important year for the history of the university since it was the 125th anniversary.
Dinosaurs are a huge part of this book, as they are a huge part of the history of Wyoming.
Right, and that was one of my favorites. I had served for a year as the interim head of the geology library, and so the geology and the dinosaurs have sort of a close place to my heart, and so I wanted to certainly bring out some of the stories, the early stories, like the fossil field expedition, which is just an incredibly significant event, not only in Wyoming, but in that geology, that research for dinosaurs. And then Dr. Knight's incredible statue, the T-Rex statue. You can't not include him in this.
Did he make that?
He did. He designed it. I can't remember what it was, 4,000 little copper squares that he worked to create that dinosaur.
That shows tremendous passion and dedication.
Absolutely.
For his field and the love of the institution itself.
Well, and I think that's true. I think that was something we would see from so many of the early faculty, is that passion and dedication to Wyoming. Grace Avon Nelson.
Yes, Avon Nelson. There were some people we felt we really needed to include, like Dr. Knight and Grace Raymond Hebert, who was a very important, influential person at the university from the 1890s until the 1930s. Yeah. And so Tammy, of course, works with the Hebert collection, and at the Heritage Center we have her papers. So they were natural resources for us to use.
One thing that the book does really well is refer to the fact that the University of Wyoming serves the entire state.
Right. Well, and one of the areas we really pointed out was the extension area, the responsibility for the statewide education, either at home or in the farming and ranching sector, and that part of ag is getting ready to celebrate a centennial in 2014, and so it's just some things have come together that probably wouldn't have been highlighted. I mean, we didn't pick that out. It just was something that percolated to the top of our interest, and now we know that they're looking at that centennial coming up.
When you go back through those old photographs and the documents, you find out that they were telling mothers how to take care of their children, what kind of food their young boys should eat so that they're healthy, and how to use their kitchen best. It's really amazing what the university has done for education across the state.
Mm-hmm. Another thing it does in a really cute way is that it shows things that were popular during the time. Like, people were really wearing beanies in one of the photographs. Right. Was that staged, or did that really happen?
That was not staged. We found that image at the Heritage Center in the collections, and we both really liked it. We figured we had to do that because there are rumors about people wearing beanies in the past, and that was in the bookstore. They were standing there, and that was in the 1950s, and the freshmen were asked to wear beanies until the 1960s. Mm-hmm. And they were expected to wear the beanie as a freshman until the Cowboys played their first football game. And once they scored their first touchdown, they then could all take off their beanies and throw them in the air and never have to see them again, apparently.
You also touched on a story that was quite serious. You mentioned the Black 14.
Right.
So we have an image of the student protesters who were out there right before the BYU-Wyoming game that October day in 1969. But I wanted to put a little bit more of a positive spin on it, because we found in 1993 they were invited back to the university, and there was a faculty member doing a documentary about the Black 14. So they were welcomed back. Mm-hmm. And we thought that was important. That was an important part of the story that usually isn't told. Right. And so we thought if we did it that way, that would be something that most people didn't know about.
Right.
Your book is for sale on Amazon. Where else can readers find it?
It is available in downtown Laramie at the Grand Newsstand and at the State Museum store in Cheyenne, and probably the City News in Cheyenne.
And at the bookstore at the university
And
as
right,
well.
absolutely. We had a great book signing sponsored by the University Bookstore, so it was great.
Tamsen, Hert, Rick Ewig, thanks so much for joining us on Wyoming Signatures.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mary.